Hello everyone. In this video, I want to demonstrate how to build a fence using a modular fence kit I built with Blender and turned it into a Unity asset. You can download this modular kit for free using the link I am providing in the description. Once you import the package into a Unity project, to start you simply need to go to the prefabs folder and drag the wall pillar unit into your scene. So here we drag the wall pillar unit, then I press F to zoom in and focus on the unit. And before we start building the fence, I want to share with you some tips to make the process of building faster and more accurate. So first, we want to make sure that the tool handle rotation is set to local rather than global. And then here, we want to make sure the grid and snap or the step size is set to 2.25, 2.25. This is the length of this unit. And the idea is to be able to snap this unit in one move. So once we have these settings enabled, and of course we have toggle on, we select the wall pillar, basically selected, we Control D, and then we move one unit. See, in one snap, in one move, the placement is done. It's accurate and fast. I mean, that's the point. So Control D, we go left. So we have our unit placed where it should be placed. Then to go faster, we can select these three units, and then you can still use Control D in snapping. So Control D, and then we move 3 units because we have 3 elements selected, and the elements are placed in place. This is so that, I mean, we can do this manually without snapping, but it will be less accurate and it will take more time. I mean, so we have, without snapping, it looks like this. We have to zoom in, make sure we have the correct placement, which can take time and be frustrating. And for building, it's not a practical way to build a long fence or a big fence. So that's for building a straight wall. But then there is the rotation part, which we kind of need some manual placement there. But we can do something to make things more accurate, and that is to set the rotate to 90 degrees so that we have a sharp 90-degree angle. So once we have this set, we enable the grid or grid snapping, then Control D, use the rotation tool, and rotate 90 degrees. And here is where we need some kind of manual snapping or placement. So we look from the top, to be more exact. We switch from perspective to isometric view. Then we use the move tool and we do our placement. And here there is another thing too. It's the fact that there is no pillar here. That's why you need the pillar. This is one of the rare times you need to use a unit except the wall pillar unit. But for convenience, I'm also including a corner unit and the wall in case someone wants to build a fence without a pillar. So these are also included. but I mean, you can build the fence only using the wall pillar unit, but you would also need this pillar at least once. So here we need also to place this pillar manually. So there is some kind of manual placement to do here. But since it's just one unit, it's just one unit. It's not, we can afford to be more precise for one unit and not use snapping. We can zoom here and make sure there is no space. So that's it. And then back to perspective mode. We look from the top, isometric, and we place the wall pillar unit. Making sure there is no space. Back to perspective mode, and we continue the wall. Control D and snap. Control D, snap. Let's have 5 units. And here to go faster, I'm just gonna select this one, these elements. Let's go closer. So shift and click. So hold shift and click to select this element, then Control D. Let's Control D, and we can use snapping to snap them in the exact location they need to be. We are going to do the same with these. Control, so shift and click to select these 5 units. Then having snapping on, we duplicate, Control D, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and we place it where it has to be. We might have a problem here because we have 2 pillars. So for this case, here to go faster, we duplicated. We could have done it from scratch, but that's not a problem. We can delete this element and just place a wall unit. We have snapping enabled, so we can snap 90 degrees. Remember, we set this to the rotate to 90. So we have an exact 90-degree rotation. Then we look from the top, isometric, and we place the element here. We disable snapping because this is not the wall pillar unit. It has different dimension. But for one element, we can do some manual placement. Depending on how you build the fence, you might or might not need to use. I said at the beginning that you only need the pillar. You can use the pillar and the wall pillar to build the fence, but here we also needed a wall, but it's depending on how you use. You can build a fence only with the wall pillar and the pillar, but you might need the wall depending on how you build it. I mean, it's something for you to see. If you see that you need an extra pillar, you add. If you see that you have an extra pillar and you need to use a wall and delete one wall pillar, you can do that. Then we want a gate. So what we do is that, so for the gate, we can simply take the middle element and delete it. So select the middle, press delete, and here we need a pillar unit. So looking from the top, click on the top again to go to isometric mode to have a more accurate view, and then place the tower, the pillar here. You can still use snapping here. You can enable snapping and like lower the increment to something like 0.1 if you want to be more accurate, and still use snapping for the pillar. But then you might not have the accuracy you want. So you can just, since it's one element, I don't think it's a big deal to do some manual placing here. Again, there might be other ways to snap these, like vertex snapping, like in Blender, but I wanted for people to be able to use this out of the box without having to use any extra snapping methods. So that's one way I found. Let's see if there is a space here. No, it's going to perspective mode to have a better view. So that's it. We have our fence. Again, if you want to have a bigger gate, we need to take out more elements, like delete more like wall pillars. But for now, this is an example with this type of gate. I mean, one unit of a gate with 1 unit of length, 1 wall pillar unit. So that was it for this video. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. Again, you can download this asset for free. The link is in the description. And if you have any question or comments, please ask. You can reach me by email. My contacts are in the description, or you can leave a comment. So thanks for watching and hope to see you in another video.